What's going on, everybody? Fragged out, swagged out, and you already know why I'm here. I am reviewing an amazing gourmand fragrance today. I love this. I love gourmands that it's gourmand. You're expecting to get that almost edible feel from the fragrance, but it's different from everything else. Like, you find a way to do something where it doesn't smell like all the other gourmands. I love gourmands, so I have a lot, and after a while, it's hard to get away from what's already done. There's chocolate, there's caramel, there's vanilla, and you keep kind of toffee, like you keep kind of mixing stuff around, and a lot of them are great, but sometimes it gets repetitive. We got something different here today with Jousset Parfums, delicious black powder, and to be honest, Jimmy likes making gourmands as much as I like putting them on. So I'm not surprised he was able to pull this off. And this is really good. If you love gourmands, I think you should definitely get your nose on this, because you will be pleasantly surprised if you've never dealt with the company. And if you did in the past, then you kind of already know what to expect. Jimmy likes making gourmand fragrances, and here it is. So on the website, it says our new gourmand signature is no accident. Our perfumer, which is Jimmy, right, intentionally concocted his most delicious indulgence, replicating a sensation of biting into a fluffy, sweet snack. One whose chocolate coating crushes under your teeth, releasing an explosion of cacao powder on your tongue. And that's the black powder, right? The kind of pleasure that makes your eyes roll back, and it's heavenly good. Okay, so the notes here are going to be on the top. Cacao, saffron, bergamot. Pay attention to that, because this opening is crazy. Heart notes are Immortelle, vanilla, and Tonka, and the basic is Suede, cacao, vanilla. So why I find this fragrance so amazing throughout the entire wear of it is the opening lasts so long. I was like, man, Suede in the base. I wondered how that's gonna be. I felt like I was gonna throw off the gourmand vibe of it with that Suede in there. But listen, when this opened, it is a very rich, mouth-watering chocolate, but it works together with that saffron and that bergamot. This bergamot is sweet, so it's almost like a candy kind of citrus. And that saffron, which I love saffron in other fragrances. I never really think of gourmands when I think saffron. But here, this kind of almost cinnamony, sort of leaning spicy sweet that it adds to it. It makes it a really interesting, and just really, when I say interesting, that's not like me saying like, well, no, I mean interesting in a really, it was not expecting it to be this opening. There's a little bit of spiciness, but it's a very sweet spicy with a kind of sweet citrus and that chocolate and the opening. And it's, even though it's cacao, it feels syrupy almost. But for those who don't like that syrupy chocolate, as it dries down, it will become more airy. I never feel like it's overly powdery, because I don't really enjoy powdery fragrance that much, but it does give off an airy, powdery kind of feel of chocolate, of literally like cacao. Like if you open up one of those cacao bottles, and the powder you pull out, like raw chocolate, raw cacao, then you have that vanilla as it starts drying down coming in with the Tonka. And if you know gourmand, you kind of know that that's a kind of no-brainer for a lot of people. Tonka, vanilla work together so well, so it gives it another level of gourmand. Some of that sweetness from the vanilla mixed with that Tonka and the Immortelle. Now the Immortelle, I thought, was really interesting, because if you smelled Immortelle when it's really dominant in other fragrances, it kind of has this anywhere leaning from a kind of hay to dry tobacco-ish, honey-ish kind of. So it can be earthy and sweet at the same time, and that's what it provided here. A little bit of earthy sweetness, but on the sweeter side. So it's more like sweet tobacco in this fragrance. It is Immortelle. The tobacco note is not identified here, but it's something to my nose. This Immortelle is coming off like a sweet tobacco. So a sweet tobacco with that saffron and that chocolate, that vanilla. And by the time you get to the base, the Suede really acts as a method for the whole fragrance to kind of stay away from being too syrupy. It never smells like true Suede, which is great for me. It really just dries down the entire fragrance to where it gives it that actual black powder effect without being overly powdery in that, typical kind of powdery fragrance where I kind of shy away from those. This is a gourmand. This is an airy, light gourmand by the time it gets to the base, but through the entire aware of it, you get a very dense, sweet, syrupy kind of chocolate. It dries down into a very kind of earthy, chocolatey, tobacco kind of chocolate, which when I say tobacco, don't let that throw you off. It's just a sweetness that the tobacco can offer with a little bit of earthiness to kind of help it transition into what will ultimately become a black powder, a chocolate powdery fragrance that still throughout the entire, maybe the bergamot will dry down a little bit more, but that saffron, that chocolate, and that Immortelle will ride out to the end, up until the point where the Suede picks up and kind of makes it really drier, more earthy, more airy. It's an amazing gourmand. It's super different. It's not like any of the gourmands that I smelled before. And interestingly enough, it's not like any of the gourmands that I've smelled from Jousset Parfum. So it was a pleasant surprise. I kind of thought it would be, again, the one note that threw me off was Suede. And it does what it's supposed to do, man. This is a delicious, delicious gourmand. If you haven't tried it, you should. If you love gourmands. Everybody doesn't love gourmand and is not willing to get experimental when it comes to gourmand. Again, with that Suede, it could have gone any way, but it went the right way. I'm impressed. I kind of feel like if you love tobacco fragrances and you love gourmand, you get the best of both worlds in here. Amazing blend. You will like it if you love gourmands. Like 99.9. You can never please everybody, but this is a banger. If you want to get this fragrance, Sealed Essence, and I believe Lucky Scent. I usually go to Sealed Essence for Jousset Parfum products because they are an authorized dealer and they usually get everything that they have. Plus, they have exclusive stuff that Jousset makes for their stores. So Sealed Essence, and that's not a paid plug. I'm just saying it's an easier way to get it, and it's here in the United States. If you're on the East Coast, you get it like in 2 days. Lucky Scent is on the West Coast. So if you're on the West Coast, maybe you go to them for it. But Jousset Parfum, delicious black powder, amazing, amazing, amazing gourmand. Check it out. That's really all I have for you guys today. If you like this content, please like. If you're not following, why not? Especially if you come back more than twice, just follow the page. Help my numbers. I'll be back to help you out with more fragrance reviews. And actually, I got time today, so I'm probably going to be back in a little while. So thank you very much for watching. Once again, this is Fragged Out, Swagged Out, and I'm out.